Hey friends, welcome back to the Brickhouse Homestead. I'm so glad that you joined me again today. Follow along to see what we're up to.
These kind of mornings are so beautiful. The sunrise and the sunset at this old farmhouse are breathtaking. The summer sunsets normally fill my camera roll almost every day when it starts warming up here. But right now, this is what it looks like outside. It's beautiful, I will say, but it's frigid. This window will forever be my favorite view. In the winter, it holds ice and frost, but come summer, it's filled with sunlight and all things growing. It's the same window, just a different season. Coffee and Bible are a must, of course, before I jump into this busy day.
Today we are making a homemade dinner and dessert from top to bottom. So we are making homemade chicken noodle soup. So I'm gonna roll out some noodles with you guys, and then we're gonna do a sourdough bread loaf. I'm gonna make homemade butter, and then I really want to make this mango ice cream with a mango hibiscus compote. So I made an ice cream before, and I used a dairy-free sweetened condensed milk. It's made with coconut milk, so if you don't like coconut, then you might not like it because it always has like a little hint of coconut. But I tell you, I used grapes, and I did a homemade grape ice cream, and it was delicious. So I went back and I got more of the dairy-free sweetened condensed milk, and we're gonna make a mango ice cream with it today. So I'm really excited to do this with you guys. So yeah, let's go.
I'm starting today with making a loaf of sourdough bread. Now, this isn't my usual loaf. This is my super speedy version. So I like to mix up my dough, but instead of relying on my starter to rise my dough, I add in some yeast. Now, I only do this if I'm kneading bread like on the table in a couple hours. It still has that like lovely sourdough flavor, but it just rises a bit quicker for me. So normally when I do this, I do my starter and I do 375 to 385 grams of water. And then I do salt, and I'm always eyeballing that. And then I do about 2 teaspoons of yeast. And then I do 500 grams of flour. So I'll cover this with a damp towel, and then I'm gonna move on to making our soup. So this chicken noodle soup recipe is something that I've made for years. Chicken noodle soup was never a favorite of mine as a kid. I always really loved cream-based soups. So broccoli and cheddar, lobster bisque. I remember I used to like clam chowder, lemon rice soup, so soups like that.
It's got a carrot arm. Hello. Anyway. Cute.
So one day I was kind of playing with my chicken noodle soup recipe, and I added heavy cream to it, and it just elevated it so much for me. So aside from my chicken and dumpling soup, this is a favorite of mine now, hands down. So I cut up celery and I cut up carrots and also onion and garlic, and then I get those things chopped up and ready.
You. You.
So now I'm jumping over to my homemade noodles. So you can find a million recipes online for homemade noodles, but these are my favorite. And they're super duper simple. Honestly, it's just 2 cups of flour. This one I use 3 egg yolks. I add 1 full egg and then a 1/4 cup of water, and then I mix it up. Generally, the only other thing I add to this is salt.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side, our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life.
You can use your KitchenAid mixer for this if you want to, but for this, I just kind of like to use my hands, get a good feel for what I want the dough to feel like, and then once I'm done, I put it in the fridge to rest.
You and I, we got it. We don't need no more.
Okay, so I got this dough all mixed up, rolled up, and I ran out of cling wrap. Normally I would cling wrap this and put it in the fridge, but since I don't have that, I'm gonna use my trusty old Ziploc bag, and it's gonna go in the fridge for 30 minutes. Okay guys, so this right here is that chicken we shredded up last week. So we're using it in our chicken noodle soup. So I'm taking it out to thaw it for a little bit, and then we're gonna get started on our mango ice cream.
What we can do.
Okay, so this is a super simplistic recipe. It is literally just mango, water, and dairy-free sweetened condensed milk. And I'm telling you, it is delicious. We're just gonna pour our mango in. Frozen mango, I just literally buy it from Meijer. If you don't have a Meijer, buy it at Walmart. And this, I know this looks totally funky, but I'm telling you, it's so good. So we're gonna actually put some water in this as well. All right. Got a hole in my bowl. All right, so let's mix this up.
Gonna be loud.
Ready?
You and I can weather any storm.
All right, let's taste test. That is divine. That's seriously so good. I'm not even joking. I love mango. I love coconut. So anything in that like fruity realm it's a 10 out of 10 in my book. So now we're gonna put this in here, you guys. Ooh, look at that creamy texture. I'm telling you, this is like, I accidentally discovered, I mean, I'm sure regular sweetened condensed milk works great too, and it'll be the same thing, but the coconut, so good. Anyways, I'm gonna make this one for Sean and I and some of the kids, and then I'm gonna make one more little batch for the rest of the kids, because we have a big old family. So this is going to go in the freezer until tonight. Okay, we're making our second little batch. So again, some mango, sweetened condensed milk, but it's dairy-free. You guys, most times when I'm doing a video, you're gonna hear a lot of commotion in the background. My kiddos are literally at my feet 90% of the time. So anyway, here's my kitchen buddy. So now we're gonna add, I already added the mango, I added the dairy-free sweetened condensed milk, and now you're gonna add some water. We're gonna put this on and put it in. All right, and that's it. Okay guys, so next I'm making the mango hibiscus compote. So I was trying to think of like what flavors would go good together, and I don't know. I went online and I was like, what pairs good with mango? And it listed so many things, but mango hibiscus just caught my attention because I'm like, oh, that's different. So I went and I got hibiscus tea, so because it said steep the flowers. So I am steeping them until they're a deep red. After that, I'm gonna add sugar, and then I'll add my mango in, and I'm gonna let that boil until it thickens up a little bit. And then you can either leave your mangoes in chunks in there, or you can smash them a little bit. I'm gonna smash them, and then you'll have this nice little compote to go on top of your mango ice cream. So right now it's boiling, and then we'll get moving on everything else. Okay, so now we are gonna add in the sugar and the mango. So I'm gonna have my little sous chef pour in the sugar. Go ahead. I put a 1/4 cup in, and then we're gonna take, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of mango in here.
Isn't that cold on your hand?
It is cold on my hand.
Can I start pushing?
All right, so we're gonna let this boil for a minute. Once it starts really rolling, I'm gonna turn it down to low and just let it simmer. Okay, so I added a little bit of liquid pectin in it. So I don't know if, I mean, those of you that make jams and stuff obviously are probably very familiar with that. So I just did that to kind of get it going and thicken it up.
So I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video, I have half of an old sourdough bread loaf left. But it was stale and I didn't want to throw it out. So my favorite thing to do with old loaves are make croutons. So here we were breaking up the loaf. My kids go crazy over these things. They're super simple. Another super simple thing to elevate a meal. You can put them on salads, you can put them on soup like we're gonna do, but I just season them with olive oil and salt and garlic and onion powder. Sometimes I use paprika, just depending on what I'm feeling. And I make sure the bread is well oiled and well seasoned, and I bake it. I bake it at 400 for 20 minutes until it's golden and crispy. Now I'm just trying this compote really quick before we circle back to our soup. So let's get those veggies sauteing with some olive oil and salt. Now, while those veggies are sauteing, we're gonna roll out our noodles. So I just sprinkle some flour on my surface, and now that our noodle dough is firm, we're just gonna roll it out. So one of these days I'm going to get a pasta attachment for my KitchenAid. I think it would be put to great use, but until then this knife works just fine too. So I never really fully appreciated homemade noodles or homemade dumplings as a child, but they are just so much more tasty in my opinion. So for our soup, I just used 2 cartons of chicken broth. I actually have a carcass in the fridge that I shredded with you guys last week that I would have used had I left myself more time today, but that just means I get to use it for bone broth next time. Anyways, I used 2 containers of broth, and then once that's mixed up, I add some salt, and then I add a couple cups of heavy cream. So once I add that heavy cream in, I just give it a good stir, and then I'm just gonna let that sit and simmer for a little while. So once that's boiling, I just added my noodles. So normally I would hang these noodles to dry, but today we just went for it, and I added them into the soup to boil for a few minutes and cook them. So onto the homemade butter. I just use heavy cream, salt, and whatever spices I want, honestly, to add. And then I let the KitchenAid do the work for me on this one.
Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.
So while I have our butter churning in the KitchenAid, I'm going to get this sourdough loaf just shaped and baked up in the oven.
Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So guys, guys, our butter finally came together, and I will say it is much faster than having to shake the jar yourself, which I also have done. And that's how I always made butter before I got a KitchenAid. So you want to rinse off the butter of all the buttermilk. And you can actually save that buttermilk, and you can make waffles and pancakes and biscuits. I mean, you can make all sorts of things with it. So I got this cute little butter mold from a dear sweet friend of mine, and I just love the design on it.
Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
The kiddos wanted to help with dishes, so of course I took them up on that offer, and once they were all done with that, I ended up finishing them up on my own.
We don't need no more. Even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm.
Alright guys, dinner is done. Thank you so much for spending part of your day here with us at the Brick House. It's been a joy and a blessing. Until next time, bye-bye.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun.